Hi, good morning to all. Myself Sashilekha, working as assistant professor in SA Engineering College, Chennai. This video will be helpful for the students who are preparing for GATE exam. So I am going to handle electronic devices. So first I will show you our institute vision and mission for the department as well as the institution. This is the vision and mission of our college as well as the department. This is the syllabus of the electronic devices. That first topic is energy band in intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor, equilibrium carrier concentration, direct and indirect band gap semiconductor, carrier transport, PN junction diode, Zener diode, MOSFET. These are the syllabus of your electronic devices. First, we are going to discuss about the energy bands in intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor. Now, what is semiconductor? So first topic is energy bands in intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductor. So first we have to know what is semiconductor. So semiconductor is a material which is having the conductivity lies between the conductor and the insulators. Then what is conductor? So conductor just allows the flow of electric current through this. So its energy gap is very less in between the valence band and the conduction band. So insulator, there is no energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band. Insulators are the materials which doesn't allow the flow of electric current through it. So the materials are divided into three types. First one is conductor, insulators and semiconductors. So semiconductor, it will allows the flow of electric current through it. So the conductivity lies between the conductor and the insulator. So conductor, it will allow the flow of electric current. Insulator, it doesn't allow the flow of electric current. Semiconductor, the conductivity lies between the conductor and the insulator. Okay. So the semiconductors are made up of pure elements like silicon and germanium. Then next one is types of the semiconductor. So semiconductors can be classified into two types. One is intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. Now, I will tell you what is intrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor is nothing but the pure semiconductor. So this pure semiconductor can be called as an intrinsic semiconductor. Second one is extrinsic semiconductor. So impurities are added into the semiconductor. It can be called as an extrinsic semiconductor. So the adding of impurities to this semiconductor can be called as a doping. So doping is a process of adding impurities with the intrinsic semiconductor. It can be called as an extrinsic semiconductor. So intrinsic semiconductor means pure semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductor means impure semiconductor. That is, impurities are added with the intrinsic semiconductor. So actually the conductivity increases with increase in the temperature. The temperature increases, conductivity is also increases. So the conductivity mainly depends upon the carrier concentration. So next one is energy gap. So energy gap is nothing but the distance between the valence band and the conduction band. So the distance between the valence band and the conduction band can be called as a energy gap. This figure shows the energy gap structure of your insulator, semiconductor and the conductors. So for the insulator, there is a large gap between the valence band and the conduction band. This is your energy gap. So for the insulator, it doesn't allow the flow of electric current. So there is a large gap in between the valence band and the conduction band. So next one is conductor. So conductor, it will allow the flow of electric current through it. So the gap is very less. Sometimes it will, if the temperature increases, the overlapping is also occurs. There is no gap between the valence band and the conduction band. So this one is your semiconductor. So energy band diagram for your semiconductor. So semiconductor, there is a small gap between the valence band and the conduction band. I already told that the conductivity of the semiconductor lies between the insulator and the conductor. So here the band gap is large. Here there is no band gap for this semiconductor. The band gap is very less when compared with your insulators because it allows the flow of electric current through it. So this gap with increases with increase in the temperature. This one shows the energy gap for the silicon, energy gap for the germanium. I already told you semiconductor can be made up of the silicon and the germanium. For the silicon, the energy gap with respect to temperature is 1.21 minus 3.6 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into T. For germanium, the energy gap is equal to 0.785 minus 2.23 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into T. So this is the, according to the temperature, the gap is also vary. So the gap is increases with increase in the temperature. The temperature increases, gap getting decrease. So these are the equations for the silicon and the germanium to find out the energy gap. Next I am going to move on to the problem, simple problems. So these problems are already asked in the GATE exam. So in that first problem, I will read the problem. Yeah, N-type silicon bar of 0.1 centimeter long and 100 into 10 to the power of minus 12 in cross-sectional area has the majority carrier concentration of 5 into 10 to the power of 20 and the carrier mobility is 0.013 at 300 degree Kelvin. If the charge of an electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb, then the resistance of the bar is. So now we have to find the resistance of the bar. So here we have to find the resistance. So the resistance is equal to, rho L by A. Here cross sectional area is given, length is also given. So we have to find the resistance. But this rho is nothing but the resistivity. So we doesn't know the resistivity. So first we have to find the resistivity. So resistivity is equal to 1 by conductivity. So conductivity, next we have to find the conductivity. First we have to find the conductivity. After finding the conductivity, we have to find the resistivity. After finding the resistivity, you can find the resistance of the bar. Just look at this. So this is the resistance is equal to R is equal to rho L by A. So here L cross section area it is given in the problem. That is 0.1 into 10 to the power of minus 2. A is nothing but the cross sectional area. It is also given in the problem. That is 100 into 10 to the power of minus 12. So this rho we doesn't know. The rho is nothing but the resistivity. So the resistivity is equal to 1 by conductivity. So now we have first what is conductivity? Conductivity is equal to Nd into Q into mu n. That is the mobility value is given, Nd value is also given. Nd is equal to 5 into 10 to the power of 20. Q is equal to charge, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. Mu n is nothing but the mobility, that is equal to 0.13. So just substitute these values, you can find the conductivity of the silicon due to the majority carriers, that is equal to 10.4. So okay, after finding this conductivity, you can find the resistivity. So I already told that resistivity is equal to reciprocal of your conductivity. That is resistivity rho is equal to 1 by conductivity, so that you can get 0.09615. This is your conductivity. Resistivity. Now we can find the resistance, that is R is equal to rho L by A. So you have found the resistivity, that is you can substitute this value, that is 0.09614 into cross sectional area, and length is also given in the problem. Just substitute these values, you can find the resistance. That is R is equal to 961.5 kilo ohm. So the third one is the correct answer for this problem. So just we are going to find out the resistance. Resistance equal to rho into L by A. L A given. Rho we have to find, that is nothing but the 1 by conductivity. Conductivity we have to find. The concentration into Q into majority hole concentration. If you multiply this, you can get the conductivity. Then we have to find the resistivity. Then we have to find the resistance. I think now we will move on to the second problem. That is, I will read out the problem. Two initially identical samples A and B of pure germanium are doped with donor concentrations of 1 into 10 to the power of 20 and 3 into 10 to the power of 20 respectively. If the whole concentration in A is 9 into 10 to the power of 12, then the whole concentration in B at the same temperature will be. So here there are two samples, samples A and samples B. For the samples A, they had given the donor concentration and the hole concentration. For the samples B, they have given only the donor concentration. We have to find the hole concentration. For this problem, we have to use the mass action law. So mass action law states that the product of your hole concentration, the product of the hole concentration and the electron concentration is equal to the square root of your intrinsic concentration. So just look at this. For the sample A, donor concentration is given, hole concentration is also given. That is ND is equal to 1 into 10 to the power of 20, hole concentration is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 12. So according to the mass action law, that is your square of your intrinsic concentration is equal to the product of your donor concentration and the hole concentration. So Na squared is equal to Nd into P. Just 1 into 10 to the power of 20 into 9 into 10 to the power of 12. So we can get intrinsic concentration, square of the intrinsic concentration is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 32. This is for the sample A at same temperature they had given in the problem. So for the according to the mass action law, this concentration is equal to the for sample B also. So for the sample B, the donor concentration Nd is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 20. We know that Na squared is equal to Nd into P. Okay, ma? Then now we have to find the hole concentration for the second sample, that is sample B. So that is equal to Na according to the mass action law. The P is equal to Na squared by Nd. So Na squared we have found, that is 9 into 10 to the power of 32. For the sample B, the donor concentration is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 20. Just substitute the value, we can find the answer. That is the hole concentration for the sample B is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 12. So according to the mass action law only we have found this answer. So the first one is the correct answer, 3 into 10 to the power of 12. Now we are going to move on to the next problem. Read out the problem. Silicon contains 5 into 10 to the power of 28 atoms per cubic meter. If it is doped with 2 parts per million of arsenic, then the electron density at room temperature will be approximately. That is, silicon is contains 5 into 10 to the power of atoms per cubic meter. Now we are adding the arsenic into the silicon. That is, if it is doped with 2 parts per million of arsenic, then the electron density we have to find. We have to find the electron density at the room temperature. So for this, we have to find now a number of the arsenic atoms added into the silicon, that is 5 into 10 to the power of 28. So the silicon is doped with 2 parts per millions of arsenic. So number of arsenic atoms is equal to silicon atom, that is 5 into 10 to the power of 28 into 2 parts per million. 2 parts into 2 divided by million, 10 to the power of 6. So number of arsenic atom is equal to 10 to the power of 23. This much of atoms, arsenic atoms are added into the silicon atoms. Each arsenic atoms will give the electron at the room temperature. So each arsenic atom will give the electron at the room temperature. So assume that all the atoms are ionized. Or assume that all the atoms are ionized. So then 10 to the power of 23 atoms will give electrons. So the number of electrons is equal to 10 to the power of 23. So number of arsenic atom. Once again I will explain. Silicon atom is added, arsenics are doped with, we are adding the arsenic into the silicon material. That is number of, now we have to find the number of arsenic atoms. Number of arsenic atom is equal to silicon atom, that is 5 into 10 to the power of 28. We are adding 2 parts per millions. So 2 into divided by 10 to the power of 6. We can find number of arsenic atom is equal to 10 to the power of 23. This much of arsenic atoms are added into the silicon. So each arsenic atoms will provide 1 electron, will give 1 electron at the room temperature. All these atoms are ionized, means 10 to the power of 23 also arsenic atoms will give electrons. So the number of electrons is equal to 10 to the power of 23. The second one is the correct answer. Thank you.